All right. So this is the after chapter discussion for 9.66. I am going to be hosting Mr. Wiggles along with Ederon as my co-host. Uh,
Hello.
yeah, as usual, we're going to start out by just going over everyone's general impressions of the chapter. So anything that in particular that stood out to you, scenes you liked the most, scenes you hated, anything like that, give me your general impressions. And Ederon, why don't you start us off with yours?
Yeah, there's really nothing I didn't like about this chapter. It was a thrill ride from start to finish. Um, there were many good situations, moments. The first one just sent shivers down my spines when Eren really let loose. And I think it was Bessel who gave us the quote that what was it? She thinks that they weren't worth killing, and that they're basically happy to have them on their side. And we have finally have gotten an acknowledgement about what we already know, that she is with level 49, almost 50. She is named ranked, and now we have finally somebody said it, that she is named ranked or at the named rank level, and it's disgustingly how strong Eren was. It was amazing. Love it. Otherwise, many great moments when the brothers joined the battle. Just amazing. Texia died. Yeah, that happened. I mean, I did like Texia, but if I had to rate it from on a scale, uh, 10 is soul crushing, then Texia's death is like 3 or 4, maybe. But otherwise, I love this chapter.
Yeah, I had to absolutely agree with you on loving the chapter. It was fantastic. I thought it went really well. It was, it's kind of going down and downhill for Liscor
Mm-hmm.
right now and the End's defenders. There's just constant, never-ending stream of undead that are coming in and killing people we've known a long time. I had to disagree a little bit on Texia being like a 3 or 4 for you. It's more like a 5 or 6 for me on her death, simply because Texia has been there since Volume 1. She hasn't been the biggest character. She hasn't had the most screen time ever, but just the fact that she's been there since Eren got arrived in the world, and just that she's been a part of the story for so long, seeing her go out like that was really sad for me. So it's more like a 5
Yeah.
or 6 for me, I think, in terms of sadness levels.
I,
But
s- I, s-
otherwise, go ahead.
I see where you're coming from. I really was worried about Relkta for a second,
Yeah.
and if he would have died, it would have been an 11 out of 12, 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Other than that, I really liked the background information we got on Casigna. That was just
oh
really
yeah,
cool. It was
holy
just
shit, yes.
very well placed lore drops in the
Mm-hmm.
chapter to spice it up. But anyways, let's get to comments in chat. Donkey says, "My feeling on the chapter, ah." And it continues on for a while, but I don't feel like doing it for the entire time. Anyways, Orion Wolf says, "I'm upset. I'm upset that it was confirmed Selmy died. I was really hoping it was a fake out last chapter." I get it, but I definitely didn't think it was a fake out last chapter.
Nope.
I was like 100% he's dead, and so my sadness for his death came last chapter. Relius says, "If Selmy unalived early in the day, then why was he the first person to appear in Caligma's Funhouse version 2.0? Kinda sus, smiley face with 7 chins. Also, oh my god, this chapter was really tense. Like, it was really hyped to see the contrast between the gods fail over and over again. On the background, everyone we ever know and love is getting swamped with undead. Smiley face with 4 chins. Also, poor Texia, sad face with Seven Chins again. Yeah, you're right. It was a great chapter. Civ Seer says, someone has died every chapter of this Solstice so far. It's fantastic. I hope we get more. Also, I love the brothers. The Hatmen are always amazing. They have this beautiful ride or die trait. The second they get given an opportunity to be a good man, they die in fucking droves. No wonder they're terrified and drawn to Aaron like a flame. You're absolutely right. The brothers continue to be absolutely amazing characters in
Mm-hmm.
every scene they come in. You know,
Chats all over.
yeah, every scene they're given, they just
It's
prove over and
yep.
over again that they're good people, even if, you know, they are bad people as well. Um,
Indeed.
I'm going to take a break from talking for a second and go back to Mr. Europe. You run to give your general impression.
Yeah, I really like this chapter a lot more than the last one. This was everything I wanted from the Solstice. Just the uh, 10,000 Draugr. Oh, wait, no, 100,000. Oh, let's actually start trying. It's just the pure escalation into crazy amounts of uh, absolute bullshit that Casigna is using, and like the response to it, it feels like a real proper uh, doomsday battle that they've been preparing for. Lots of good moments, and I really love the focus on the battle where it didn't cut around so much. It had like Casigna's first different steps and like her general plan, and then the defenses cut didn't feel like it cut around so much. Like there were a couple of scenes out of sync, so to speak, but mostly it just followed in a really good flow, and Pirate did a really good job with it.
Absolutely agree with you on that, Mr. Europe. And the overall sense of dread during the chapter just kept building up and up as Casigma came back one time, she came back twice, and the third time where she's constantly just spawning more and more undead, and it's just like, holy crap, how is Liscor ever going to come through this? How is Liscor ever going to
Yep.
deal with this in any way?
And you can see that at the end they really that everybody did go. They have to go all out with the last wave. Shellion going full. I don't know what modus that was, his capstone, but it shows that now there is no more holding back. All the big players are joining or try to join, and now shit really hit the fan.
Things have gone super serious.
Mm-hmm.
Sidehammer, you're up next. Give us your general impression.
What can you really say about it, man? I mean, this is 9 out of 10. Uh, there's so much. There was so much that happened. It's I can't even keep track of it all, to be honest. I'm not even, and that's not a criticism at all either. It's just I want to devour all of it, and there's just it's like someone just keeps handing me more cake. You know, just stop it. You need to stop feeding me this much. I'm gonna I'm gonna get too fat. You know, it's just I have to say my favorite parts uh, has to be Erin flying in her doorway, shooting flames and lightning bolts. I will finally concede that she does not, in fact, need a portal cannon because of these. However,
Sorry. I forgot you with your portal cannon like for weeks, for months. Portal
it would have
cannon.
been a
I
great
mean,
opportunity.
she did throw rocks,
She did.
so there is maybe it's kind of a portal cannon.
They were still cannons. They just weren't
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
doing what I was.
honestly, it works a lot like a portal cannon because she's
Yeah,
sending something from her gardens out into the real world through a
true.
portal. It
Yeah,
kind of
it's
is a
just,
portal cannon.
it's just she wasn't using physics the way I thought she would. But
Yeah.
anyway. So I'll concede that, but she's powerful enough without it. I do feel like, I don't know, I did feel like down the road, pirate main nerf Aaron. Like she'll say like one of those, like the lightning room has run out of lightning, or the fire room can no longer do firestorms or something. Because Aaron seems pretty OP just to come back into normal, coming back into normal in normal work days.
Well,
I
And
I
it just seems a
I
little
don't
strong.
I don't really think she is we she is almost she's almost level 50. Like the others said, she is named level. And I think it's quite it's time that we really see her go all out. I mean, I think everybody at that level is a monster, and seeing her really let loose, I think it's perfect. And I don't even
Well,
think that she needs to get nerfed, because it's still local. It's just her in. She can't do that somewhere else. It's just her in is her territory.
I take your meaning, but it's hard sometimes to write a protagonist from that level of power. So authors tend to nerf themselves back down to just get things back in order. So I was just worried myself that she might have to do that,
Mm.
but or they might have to do that. But Pirate has proven themselves a great writer and great way to move around uh, plot inconveniences. So I have faith that they'll do it justice, and I'd love to watch Aaron just be a powerhouse for the rest of
Mhm.
the story. But I don't know. The Aaron parts were my favorite, but I gotta say I was very sad with Tachia and the boys who went down fighting with her. She was a goat. I'm gonna miss her, and also poor Herove. Just wasn't his time. I don't think we'll get a chance to mention him later. So, but I'm really wondering where Salus is. I mean, he's an army in and of himself. I think he can deal with the rest of maybe not the rest of the Draugr, but a lot of them. And Chaldean's already taken out a lot. I could see a path to victory. Let's say, but that with the new hags and the new undead, she's definitely making it difficult for everybody. And I think that's it.
all right. Thank you, Sidehammer. Now, let's get back to some of the read out comments. Kania says the escalation felt pretty well done. Things felt too safe at the beginning, but by the end, it is a lot more serious, and it feels like it will get a lot worse. Rip Herov, he was one of my favorite knights of Solstice. Asteria says this chapter really shows where Pirate shines, mass group battle scenes. The jumping from point of view to point of view was excellently done and took us through the battle as it progressed. The start with Cassie's backstory was also a great touch. I now have like 20 more plot points to add to my list, but really nice to progress on some of the points on the list. My favorite scene had to be the blood bank with the mathematician. It really captured what goes on beyond the battlefield, and it is an area not many authors treads, barring the infamous MASH. Yeah, that scene was excellent, and
Mhm.
I expect we'll get a lot more of it once we get to either the epilogue or next volume. Just seeing the aftermath of what's happened, because this is the most devastating battle we've seen ever, I think, in TWI. It's more devastating than even the Volume 5 battle
Mhm.
um, and in Liscor. So this is going to be a big aftermath stuff going on.
I mean, I personally think everybody who survived this is at least 4 or 5 levels, if not more, for a low-leveled nobody in low level should even be there, but everybody is gonna level like crazy. This is I can't recall anything that bad in TWI right now, and I mean there was a fight between Antinium and Adventurers, I think, where we saw Celes go versus Kilp and the other Antinium. That was a big scale battle, but this is just world-ending battle. I mean, the whole continent is in danger at the moment.
Yeah, it's something else. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. Geiger says, I love the brother scene. At first, I was like, why is this a thing? Then I was like, oh no, this is exactly the perspective we need. Yeah, every single brother scene is the perspective we need every time. It's always great just seeing that.
Amen, brother.
Valtherain says, now we know for certain that the souls Caligma gobbled up are still there. It gives me hope they will be freed when she finally gets unmade. Igneel says, the coolest moment and the moment that stood out to me the most this chapter that made me giggle manically alongside this character was Czautha going nuts with his speech, announcing his experience of who he is and what he has done, and then going crazy with his capstone skill, calling the support of Visophecin, and then Zidichin Turlin supporting him with his skill and letting him call his skill once more with the aid of Manus. Yeah, that scene really showed how powerful Chaldean is. You know, like, we haven't seen his level 50 capstone before, and seeing it in this context really gives a sense of how he's held up Palace so long just by himself, basically. Donkey says, it was really interesting seeing how the rules of different realities interact with the new / old undead this chapter. Only other example we've seen I can think of is Ryoka's alien sword. Healing potions not existing in Avalon I don't count as an interaction between real sets. Sir Bear says, yeah, when I thought what would happen in the Solstice, I didn't expect 110,000 Draugrs plus the hags plus all the other stuff. I was one of those that thought Casigna will use the dungeon monsters like Bellavir did in the V8, not something as big as that. Oh yeah, absolutely true. I was one of those too. I was firmly on board with the dungeon being the source of most of the monsters for this.
And this is even worse than the dungeon.
Yeah, it's worse.
Yes,
I have to imagine this is worse.
Every monster has a gold rank threat. Every
Mhm.
last one of them. For fuck's sake. It's disgusting.
Donkey says, also the jumps backwards and forwards in time in these chapters are well done. It was easy to tell when and where each scene took place, at least well enough to understand things. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It didn't confuse me at all when we went forward in time to see like Texia's death. That was basically at the very end of the battle because that's when the solstice was ending. But it's like, okay, I know that's where it is. This is something farther forward in the battle. It was very clear. Pastafarian. Oh yeah,
sorry.
yeah, and Relk too. Pastafarian says, we haven't even seen the Titans that she raised yet, so that's going to be interesting. A good moment to introduce some of the Elder Terrors whom we haven't seen take the field yet. Geiger says, I have 2 questions. Where is the end of Casigna's power? She seems to be doing a lot and has been drained 3 or so times. Is she finally done? And do we think this is the low point, the spot where it seems there's no longer any hope, or is this the first low of several lows this solstice? I honestly expect lower points to come. Even like we've gotten everything summoned now, and now we get to see all those 100k Draugr and the new undead fight. You know, I think we're gonna go even lower just because of that. Sir Bear says, small correction, we saw his level 50 capstone before. It's path to victory. probably his level 55 capstone. Is Path to Victory's 50? It probably is. Okay. Orion Wolf says Erin's level is now 53 for how much she's earned. Mentioned when Theg was at the bar, but still needs to pass the level 50 hump to register it. It'll be cool seeing where she actually ends up. Yeah, I fully expect a super class consolidation and just a very interesting level 50 class. Type says this chapter really benefited from the editing. That's good. Always good to hear, Type. Donkey says, my crack theory is she gets enough XP for level 60, but her class upgrades enough that it lowers 10 levels to level 50. That would be enormous. Like,
Holy shit.
that would be huge.
I mean, I kinda understand where it's coming from because she is literally fighting a god. So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it could happen. I still don't think it's likely, though, because level
Yeah.
60 in one go from 49, that's so much. That's so many levels. Like, Pirate Abba would have to have like 20 skills in those levels just to make all at one time. And I don't think they would do that. Asteria says, wouldn't it be funny if no one leveled / gained any experience from this because Cassie isn't part of the system, so no points are awarded for facing off against her? All right.
Holy shit.
Asteria is a naysayer here, okay? She's being pessimistic. Do not listen to her, because even if Casigna doesn't count, like let's
Burn
just
the witch.
assume Casigna doesn't count for anything.
Burn the witch.
Okay, don't be mean. Anyways, Casigna, even if Casigna doesn't count, all the Draugr do count.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the undead, they have a value attached to them that the system can firmly see. So even if Casigna doesn't, it doesn't matter. And Pastafarian is saying pretty much the same thing. Pastafarian says the Draugr might still count, and the Risen Titans should definitely count. Mr. Europe says, I predict that Erin will consolidate and hit level 50 several times, but she gets the same capstone skill several times, and they share a cooldown. That'd be a little odd. Interesting thought, though.
And now that I think about it, because of the level thing, the fairy who joined, I don't know if Fae are part of leveling system. I think they are not. Same, and Aaron got experience just for him entering the inn.
Yeah, that's true. Sir Bear says Erin is fighting a totally normal person, but yeah, with the insanity of Erin defending her inn from 110k Draugrs, could be a small bump of levels. Yeah, just a small one. Little itty bitty bump of levels. Asteria says, hey, watch Pirate delete those level ups and class changes. They won't hurt us like that, okay, Asteria? That would hurt us too much. Civseer says, Pirate can't pull that shit twice without massive outrage. Pirate got that once and we took it from Deadlands. Twice would be an ass pull. And Geiger says, wait. Oh, Civseer, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. That would be fun though. If they did do it again. Geiger says the Fae aren't a part of the system too, right? Didn't some gain levels from dueling them during the summer solstice? Aaron gained levels already from them entering the end. The thing is, back in Volume 8's conclusion, Pisces killed a skeleton that Tamaroth was inhabiting, and he didn't get any levels from it. And Pirate Abba later explained in Discord, I believe, that the dead gods don't really give experience like that. So that's where people are coming from with not getting any experience for going against Casigna. Though that was before the system was really, more sentient or sapient, whatever you want to call it. Relia says, I'd reckoned being on the battlefield with Caligma would be enough for anyone to gain a special class or like 10 levels. Wondered if everyone starts unalive in next chapter when they start passing out and counter leveling like it's no one's business. Smiley face with 8 chins. Then horns gain 40 levels as a reward for the quest thingy. Smiley face with 10 chins. Okay, this 40 levels thing is never going to happen, Relia. You just gotta accept it. Donkey says the Tamra / normal skeleton thing was explained both in Discord and later in the story, if I remember correctly. An earlier grand design of is the Kenna's point of view, I think. All right. I don't remember exactly what or where, but yeah. Anyways, finally, we're done with general impressions. That took forever. There was a lot of general impressions. It's great. It's great to see everyone has so much to say about the chapter. Anything else you want to add, Edoron, or any questions you think are good to start us off?
Nope, you can take the first question.
All right, since let's see. I'm trying to think of what's a good segue here. I guess we'll just go with the first question just to start us off.
Yeah.
So a little segue from this chapter into the future of what do you guys think will the halflings' attack on Ristrum affect Rabbit Ear's battle? Will Ristrum's mages fall back after the damage caused? So basically, is Rabbit Eater even more screwed now because Wistrum was basically, severely destroyed by the halfling, which was nuts, by the way. That attack seriously destroyed huge chunks of Wistrum and destroyed the dimensional properties of it in many ways. But how do you will Rabbit Eater, kind of get screwed over from this? What do you think, Edron?
I'm not really sure. Right now, although for that point, I don't really have an opinion. Just know slingshots are OP. Otherwise, for that point, I don't really have an opinion right now. I'm just gonna wait.
All right. I think that Tessie is gonna, or not Tessie, sorry. Rabbit Eater is going to get seriously. This battle Rabbit Eater's in is gonna be seriously difficult for him. I kind of expect half of the Porcelain 5 to just be dead by the end of it.
What the fuck?
I do. I expect half of them. I don't really think Seraphil will die, but I do see at least 2 of the others dead.
No. Don't even give pirates ideas. Don't just. Why do people want characters to die?
I don't
get you, people.
I don't want them to. I see them as being possible victims, okay? And this halfling coming and destroying parts of Wistrum just makes it worse for them because Wistrum was supporting them, and all of a sudden Wistrum's just been super mega attacked, and they're gonna pull back and not help Rabbit Eater more. I think that's really gonna hurt him a lot. Though he does have the boon now. He does have the boon, which is great. I love seeing Aaron give him the boon once again. Because that's the only thing she could give him at this point in time. It's the only help she could give him.
It was from Teriak, wasn't it?
Yeah, Boon of the Guest, Teriak.
Mm-hmm.
The
by the way,
survivor.
If any of the Iron Porcelain 5 dies, I'm blaming you. Just wanna make that clear right now.
All right. Anyways, Mr. Europe, you want to speak?
Yeah, I never really expected, it never really registered in my mind that Wistrum was going to be helpful in any way, really, during the ship battle, like to a degree that they swung the battle. So for me, this doesn't actually change much. And I just assumed they were going to be useless in some way. So yeah, for me, it doesn't really change much in that like equation. I'm just expecting that to be a horrible battle and for something to happen. I mean, obviously they're not all gonna die because that would be silly. But I mean that big lion's gonna die for sure, and maybe one of them. But yeah, I mean, there's Fishbowl Head, who hasn't really been doing much. So there are targets. But yeah, I'm I'm expecting something to go terribly, terribly wrong, and yeah, just something big is going to come up. Maybe Bella's going to come up riding some kind of weird ship and just destroy everyone. Who knows?
I hadn't even considered that Belvoir might become a part of that battle, because she is at sea right now, and
Yeah.
that's the most likely place she could come in.
Also, God damn it, the halfling did not have a slingshot. He had a sling.
Oh, sorry, sling. I don't know if I said slingshot, but I'll assume
I
I
said
did. I meant
slingshot.
sling.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a difference. I think a sling is something you whirl over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, a sling is a weapon of war that you spin it around your head and let go, and it whips a stone or a projectile across. A slingshot is a kid's toy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Europe. Sir Bear, you're up next.
I'm going to disagree for a bit. I don't think half of the every 5 are going to die. Maybe the lion. That's probably the case, but definitely not them, because I think some of them got too many storyline to truly die in a way. But yeah, like Monsieur Rob said, I don't think Wisdom was going to do much anyway. And to be honest, we all know the true protection of Wisdom is Cognita, and I don't think she cared about that battle very much. And if she does care, she's far outside the place and can control the golem at a distance. So as long as the big golem are still there undamaged, Cognita can still do stuff if she decides to help. But Rabbit is going to be safe with the boon of Teriarchy. Is going to be great, because I think it's fitting that the first boon of Teriarch goes to a goblin, because Teriarch was one of the immortal being friendly to goblin, not being an asshole to them, trying to helping them, being sad for them in a way. So it feels fitting that it goes to a goblin champion.
All right. Thank you, Sir Bear. You and Mr. Europe have a pretty dim view on how much help Wistrom is going to be giving the fleet battle. I honestly thought they would be a pretty major force in helping the Tarandrian fleet. So I thought, the halfling kind of distracting them would have a pretty big impact overall. But I guess a lot of people don't think Wistrom can do very much.
It's Wisdom.
I guess, yeah.
They don't do
You're right.
anything.
You're right, they're kind of dummies. Anything you want to add, Edra?
Nope. Just from the discussion, I have more questions, but nothing especially to that one right now.
All right. Just why don't you go ahead and pick out another question, and I will read the responses to this. Just think about it. You don't have to do it right away.
I have a question already, but you can read.
All right. Improbable Blob says, yes, he is doomed. All right, good to know. Geiger says, I'd say looking at the damage on the Wistrom, I'd say 50 out of 100 is damaged by the Halfling. I don't know if it's that severe, but it's definitely a severe amount, but I don't know if 50% of it is damaged. Donkey says, I think it will have little effect on the sea battle. The pirates are either willing to fight Wistrom or they aren't. Therefore, the waters around Wistrom are either safe for the fleet or they aren't. Well, if they were willing to fight, like Wistrom, if Wistrom is distracted, they're not going to help as much. But anyways. Kel says, I think the Rock of Dispel Magic caused Wistrom to expand westward, which may mean the fleet is closer to Wistrom by quite a lot. I forget which side the fleet was approaching from. Kel, I don't know which side it's approaching from either. I'm not sure if it was ever stated. I guess they're on the western side of Israel, and Wistrom is in the middle of the ocean between Israel and Belarus, so it would have to be the eastern side of Wistrom that they're heading towards. Mystical Pie says, I have to believe Rabbit Eater survives long enough to get back to the end for my sanity. Rabbit Eater was already mega fucked, even if he survived, because I think his secret is out. The Wisdom attack will probably pull the Archmages off the battlefield, which means they'll have to rely on the Iron Vanguard. Also, only member of the Porcelain 5 I'm 100% sure will survive is Seraphel. I'm pretty sure Seraphel is going to survive too, but I'm also pretty sure Rabbit Eater is going to survive, even if I really hope Rabbit Eater survives. Let's just say that. You're right that I'm super nervous about his secret getting out, because it does seem like a foregone conclusion at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he is now got a tool to shine, and maybe he will even be the shining hero. I mean, he just the shining hero who saves everybody with his boon, and that's makes the sting of being a goblin maybe less. That's in my head.
All right. Thank you, Edron. Okay, I figured out where I am. Asteria says, I'm wondering if the halfling shot means the upper floors are possibly now open to the mages. Like there might be an alternate way in, or the golems got taken out. I think that's too hopeful, Asteria. It could be true though. Like that's a good thought, that's an actual good situation that could come from this. Though not good for Cognita, since she doesn't want people going up there, and not good for us either, because Eldavin is kind of, the main villain, we're gonna say, on the dead god's side.
Yes, make me the villain. It's okay. I can handle it.
Sorry.
I am the traitor.
Yeah. Sivsir says Rabbit Eater should be fine. Seraphil was laying the groundwork for him being a tailless drake, and now Aaron gave him a fucking Terriarch boon. That's true. Sivsir also says, Aaron has favorites. Let no one tell you otherwise. As for Wistrom, I think all the expanded spaces being fucked is a fantastic opportunity. Consider this. Previously, there is exactly one path to the upper floors through the golems, but now that Wistrom has been converted into a vengeance dungeon, I think Rabbit is going to hang out at Wistrom for a while and go back to his roots, exploring dungeons with his band of 5. What is going to be interesting is when Fiora and Rabbit interact. Aaron's been slowly seducing Fiora this volume. She's been placing sleeper agents everywhere, and Fiora is her choice for Wistrom, which is interesting since he's the only one who hasn't been converted by Eldavin. It'll be really funny to watch Seraphil and Fiora try and keep the Prince Men of Eldavin from revealing Rabbit is a goblin. Also, I wonder if Eldavin will be able to tell that Rabbit was booned with Terriarch, and if Terriarch joins Zell and Aaron in Rabbit's concussion mind palace thing he's got going. Alright, that was a lot to take in, and I, truth be told, do not see Rabbit Eater spending any significant amount of time in Wistrom. I just don't see it. Yeah, he wants to go home more than he wants to stick around in Wistrom. Only way he's sticking around in Wistrom is if they imprison him there. Which, okay, that could actually happen. Relia says, Rabbit Eater is literally going to turn into a giant light dragon of doom and save the whole fleet. And even though everyone knows he's a goblin, he's going to get some accolades from Calendar and become the light herald and very sorrowful, and they'd be like light and dark and stuff. A smiley face with fortunes. Also, since Cortez 100% unalive, this means that the newlyweds will have a giant cat. Smiley face with 11 chins. Also, oh my god, that Halflin guy was so fan service, but I don't care. He's literally my top shit now. Winky face with 3 chins. Also, did anyone else on Inworld see the moon literally wink? What the frick? Okay, that was so cool, by the way. The moon winking at Eldavin. That was one of the coolest images and one of the coolest scenes, just to know that there's a backup halfling sitting up there to make sure the gods are never mentioned in a broadcast. And yes, I don't like the literal pun, Asteria, the man in the moon. I don't like it, okay?
I like it.
Donkey says, has Wisdom's layout actually changed at all? I thought it just started occupying more real space, closer to the amount of space it actually contains. Well, the fact that it's occupying more real space does mean that getting to other places in Wisdom might be different now. Who knows how that actually will work out, though. Geiger says, I'm going to laugh. The damage brings Zelkir out. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I hope it does, so Zelkir can get killed. We gotta kill Zelkir if he's still alive. That would be sweetest of things.
It was never said he's dead, isn't it?
No, we have no idea if he's dead or alive. Like, there's a lot of things pointing to him being dead because,
Where
he's
is
done
he?
nothing, basically.
Yeah.
But we still don't know if that's true. Violet responds to Geiger by saying that would be amazing. Donkey says, in the Patreon channel on the main server, some people were wondering if the Terriarch boon was going to affect Rabbit's class and or aura like the Zell boon do. I think it won't. The aspects of the boon Aaron focus on, survival, champion, are pretty close to what Rabbit's already got going. One thing is, you're right that he's already a champion, so that boon could push him over the edge to hit level 40 or it'll help push him over the edge to hit level 40 because he gets a new perspective from it, or he understands more about himself from that boon, and he can consolidate possibly his knight and his champion classes into one. That'd be really cool in my mind. Brack says the news being ran by idiots and the kids managing to run away has made Wistrom the butt of the joke as of all recent events. Them hosting Elvin while he follows a dead god isn't a point in their favor either. But they are still a world-renowned center of magical learning, so they have to be useful for something eventually. Yeah, they're gonna find Emmerhoon's little last box and open it. That's what they'll be useful for eventually. Mr. Europe says Rabbit Eater's boon is going to give him the cowardice of Terriarch, so he jumps overboard, and the punch of Terriarch, so he floats to safety. Now that's an image. Sir Bear says Rabbit's secret is out. Some knight saw it, season know about it. Airbath's prince guessed it. Seraphil guessed it, etc. Yeah, it's basically a foregone conclusion that Rabbit is going to be exposed. Actually, Kermit says, I sure do hope that Rabbit doesn't try to use Terry's drag breath, accidentally melt the front of his helmet, blowing his cover. Okay. Hello, Tomio. And Sivsir says, wait a second. Zarg said the moons are real and the stars are fake, right? Clearly the moons are important, but why did he specify to Aaron that the stars are fake but the moons are real? He's saying the gods made fake astrological objects, but the moons are real. Maybe the moons weren't made by the gods. The elves do a sage of 6 paths and make the moons. Imagine if the gods return to the living, the elves. Okay, sorry. Imagine if the gods returned to the living, the elves had a plot to drop the moons on Endworld if they return. That'd be scary as hell, okay? That'd be
Love
like
the love the
just
Naruto reference, by the way.
yeah, it would just be like doomsday, everyone dies if this happens kind of deal, which would be scary.
Besides, it's
Anyways,
not 24 hours. Only then the moon is falling. Or what was? I have never played Majora's Mask. I have no idea how much time it was.
I've played a little of it, but not too
Yeah,
much.
there's a timer, so I don't know what time it was.
Yeah.
The moon is falling.
Anyways,
So I have another question.
go ahead and post it.
Yes. Who is the traitor?
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, who do you think?
I think Mr. Europe wants to field this one.
Yeah, Mr. Europe had an idea that Wismar is the traitor, but
Alright. Do you have any ideas, Edron? Or
to
should we
be
just
honest, I just think it's one of the Drakes because Drakes suck. But
Okay.
otherwise, I have no idea. Nope. Really, no idea. But I want to discuss it. I want to hear what everybody else is thinking.
Alright. There could be so many. Like, I have consistently had the thought that sorry, I keep saying your name. The Chaldean was going to be the traitor because
And
Chaldean, like, he wants to protect his people above all else. And if he sees that there is no hope left in this battle, I feel like he will honestly betray everyone and take Casigna's side.
I've told it a million times.
Yeah.
He would not do that.
Yeah. Okay. Give us one
Yeah.
person you can think of.
Another Drake.
Just an actual Drake name. Give us one Drake name that you think is likely to betray everyone.
I
General Dome.
Yeah, let's go with that. I
All right.
really don't. I really don't know.
All right. Well, let's hand it over then to the man, the myth, the legend, the Mr. Europe, who has obviously the best take on this. We're going to hear the entire discussion. Go ahead.
Well, my punchline was already stolen by Edron.
Oh.
Where I had the idea that Visma is a snitch and therefore is clearly going to be the traitor. However, I do have two actual little theories. The first is that it's going to be something that obviously I don't think Chaldean's going to be the traitor because it's too obvious, which obviously means I'm going to be wrong. But my theories are either that the something is going to come along from the like the north. I think it's not going to be just a Drake betrayal. I think it's going to be up from the north, and that it's going to be one of like some kind of what's his name? Regis plot out of nowhere that he's gonna have a blood cultist do something to fuck over the Drakes in the middle of the fight. And the second option is, of course, just literally any Drake.
I see we all have a lot of faith in Drakes here.
They suck.
I wish Thedicron was here because Thedicron is the Drake supremacist that would not be happy with any of us. But I don't know why. It does seem more likely to me that one of the Drakes will be the traitor. I don't know why it seems more likely. but it does, okay?
Join
But
the
yeah.
dark side.
Some kind of Regis blood cult shenanigans, not necessarily on behalf of the gods, but just to fuck over everyone else there, including the Drakes, is literally the only thing I could think of other than that. Possibly a obviously weird mind control and necromantic shit, whatever.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Europe. Tomio, you wanted to speak. Who do you think the traitor is?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. So, my choice is a bit unlikely to many of you, but I believe it's Tyrion. Let me explain. We just saw recently he mentioned his wife again, Czautha, and we know that he spent most of his time trying to invade the Drake to adventure. So, if Casidna ever had the goal to offer his wife again, I think he would take it. And it's not my personal it's not just my personal hope, but um, I think it would breaks the current Tyrion and Ryoka ships. I really hope to.
I'm sure that is the main driving factor behind why you want this.
But I think it can be quite interesting if Salva were to return and be another force in the north. Because currently, just Magnolia is a bit lackluster and compared to others. Right, I think so.
All right, thank you, Tomio. I definitely could see that. You know, we know that Tyrion loved his wife so much that having her gone means he's waged a war against the Drakes for years. A war of genocide, basically, against the Drakes for years.
Betraying everybody just for. I think he is too honorable for that, to be honest. He is an asshole. Also, I mean, we now know he is an ass, but he's an honorable ass.
He also
And
he also has Ryoka now. Like,
yeah,
and he
that's
knows if betraying her, he's gonna lose her immediately.
and he's fought too hard to like just risk it all. I mean, he could have died like multiple times in this battle. And I don't think that the traitor is somebody who like actively fought today.
Okay.
In my head, it's like maybe one of the Earthers who got corrupted by the last Solstice and is now hiding somewhere and snitching. That's what I just came up with, but whatever.
All right, thank you, Edoron. Let's read out some of the responses now. Donkey says, I think Cassie is going to tempt Tolv by offering to revive his master. I don't think it. I don't think Tolv will go for that. Just Tolv hates her so much just for killing him in the first place. I don't think he would go for just being on her side just because she could revive him. Geiger says, gonna be real, I think Chaldean is the most likely traitor. Still agree with that. Brack says, gotta be Lock-in. Chaldean was having too much fun throwing city spells around. Come on, Lock-in's not gonna betray anyone. Lock-in's a good boy. He's good. Good.
He's German and.
Okay.
Wir wissen alle, wie das mit den Deutschen hier ist, ne? Also.
Okay, I don't speak any German whatsoever, Edoron. You know this.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Anyways, Geiger says he hired Bellavere last time. He'll bow before Casigna this time. Donkey says, I thought Chaldean was going to go to Cassie, but his actions in these chapters make me think he won't. Okay. Mystical Pie says, I feel like Chaldean has been set up to be the traitor. He's at the end of his life, making a perfect candidate to receive a boon from Casigna, and he's willing to deal with Bellavere. I want to believe he won't, though. The problem with Chaldean turning traitor is that he's way too powerful. The narrator called him the most powerful mortal on the field, and the Drakes will follow him. If he turns, I don't see any way Aaron wins. That's very true. If he does turn, That's a huge, huge loss for the Allied side because the majority of the Allied side are Drakes. So if they all turn, or even half of them turn, that's a major issue. Geiger
Yep.
says it could also be Silvenia showing up as saving people because she's known as the traitor. Okay, I thought you were going a different direction with that comment at first, and I was gonna say that Linu was gonna eat your heart out, but this
Yes.
is a pro Silvenia comment, so I think that's fine. That's a good one. Good thought.
I really also thought I already saw Lino going completely ham.
Relia says Yellow Splatters is a traitor because he got all scared because he unalived and didn't see heaven. Now he wants to live forever. As kind as a foil to how Pan wants to build heaven on Inworld. Does mean that Yellow Splatters can make a heaven for himself by gaining immortality from Caligma. Happy face with 50 chins. Or actually, it could be Laken because he's really stupid and would accidentally take the hand of his second god who sounds exactly like Doreen. Sad face with 10 chins. Or actually, it's going to be Erin herself because she wanted to stop the violence and took up a plea bargain sort of thing to stall things out until she can get a less suck position. Evil smiling face with 10 chins. Or actually, it's Shern. Okay, really, you got to use some punctuation. Punctuation. It's all one sentence, Relia. It's hard to read one sentence like that. Anyways, Yellow Spiders is a good one. That's a good call out. He did, suffer a lot last chapter. I don't know about the other two though. Valthurian says it's Typhonus. Caligma seduced him with her wrinkly charm. Okay.
Oh my god.
Sir Bears says because Drakes are egoist morons who with only a short-term view, that's why everyone suspects them. Okay. Yeah, it's
True.
kind of true. It's kind of true. Violet says Tomio has a fancy voice. Yeah, Tomio does. And Tomio says that's what I'm hoping for in terms of Tyrion probably breaking up with Ryoka. Asteria says the traitors are the ones missing something or loved ones to lose. Ressa if Mags goes under. Bethel and Thomas if one of them is in danger. Chaldean for Salas. Rahir, King, and Purik if we're going outside of Liscor, but not the Liscor ants or any of the goblins. Pride and Grim are too stead for them to be it. Anyone else close with Aaron knows better. Olsum already broke out of the enhancement 2 with those memories and call skill. Leon though if Mersha is in danger, any of the Manus folk if Dragon Girl is in danger. All right, these are some good predictions. I like these. These are good. These are. I can see most of these happening, except Lionette or Olisum. I don't see either of those betraying them. Sir Bear says also can't be Tyrion because Maviolo said in V7 if Aaron was in danger, she should go to Tyrion to protect her. He would use her, but he would protect her. Good point. Interesting point. Sivseer says building off Tomio's deranged prediction. That'll be hilarious. Imagine if Tyrion tried to build a harem with his previously unalived wife and Ryoka. Could we seriously say dead instead of unalived Sivseer? Come on. Anyway, Sivseer says, and Ressa and Aaron, who's a tsundere in this relationship, and Wiscaria for some reason. All right, now I think we're getting into a weird zone here, Sivseer, where this is just your hope of a harem for Tyrion.
Write a fan fiction about it. I will read it.
Yeah. Tomio says down with Tyrion x Ryoka. Sivseer says Salas would be Ice Chaldean. Sorry. Salas would ice Chaldean so fast if Chaldean turned traitor, like zero hesitation. Probably would.
Yep.
Geiger says, here's a wild and quite unlikely guess. An Aaron fan tries to do it to save Aaron, Nears/Numtongue/ etc. Casigna obviously would not kill Aaron, but the traitor's act would be done nonetheless. I think the whole point is Casigna wants to kill Aaron above
Mhm.
all else. So not killing Aaron, I don't think is ever on the table.
There would be no deal, and I don't even think that she would like lie about it because she doesn't even. She has no need to. To like, yeah, I
Yeah.
would spare her, but she wouldn't do that.
Yeah, of all things, I don't think Casigna lies. I actually don't think she lies about things. She's an idiot who, doesn't see things the same way, and so if she says one thing, it probably isn't the actual truth, but I think she believes it's the truth. I don't
Mhm.
think she lies about things. It's below her. Relia says, or Pursua, because Doppelganger tried to unalive her during her redemption arc thingy. Asteria replies to Sivseer by saying he wouldn't necessarily know in time. Casa is pulling them into another dimension. And Geiger says, sorry, not kill means she would not actually not kill Aaron. Holy crap, that was
My goodness.
that was a sentence with too many knots, okay? I can't decipher that sentence, but I think you mean that Casigna would kill Aaron. Anyways, Geiger says, but her saving Aaron would be not consuming her soul in the afterlife. Okay, thank you. Um,
Do you
I
have
think
another question? Maybe already ready? Any last thoughts?
you have a question.
No, not.
Okay,
I
I have
wanted
one.
to. You have one. You have one.
Yeah,
Maybe one last thought.
I'm waiting for Action Kermit to
All
finish
right.
typing, but
Mhm.
give me your last thought.
Where is? Was it Troidel? He's the shittiest of the New Earthers, isn't he? The one who was.
Yes,
Where?
he's not a good one. Not a good guy.
Where is he? We
I
haven't
think
heard of
he's
him.
in Palace.
Yeah. I think he's the traitor
Okay. Okay.
because he's not good.
All right.
Hmm.
All right. Kermit is taking forever to type this out, so I'm gonna post the next question. But Kermit, it's okay. You can keep typing. I'll read whatever you wanted to say. Oh, ha! It happens. Action Kermit says, I think it's interesting that Casigna's whole way of dealing with the world is based around a tit-for-tat strategy, where support is always rewarded and opposition is always punished. That's optimal for simple game theory interactions, but can also produce the worst theoretical outcome against someone else is doing the same thing and they just oppose each other constantly. Aaron's whole thing is looking for ways to break that cycle of violence. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your responses to this question. Let's move on. Next question is Cauwine versus Rhisveri versus Visophecin, Czautha, and Silvenia. Who's going to win? Who's got it?
Easy, Cauwine.
Cauwine?
You don't beat a god in actual fighting him. You just don't do that. Not in this day and age. If
All right.
they are really serious, they would crush you in an instant. At least when it comes to direct combat. The only reason Aaron is not dead is because she is in her inn right now.
Okay. I will just say that Cauwine is limiting herself, or she's
Mm-hmm.
letting Zeladona, take the wheel, basically. So it's not full-on Cauwine versus them. So I don't think it's necessarily a god versus them easily. And it will be super simple for Cauwine to win. But I do think Cauwine will win in the end. Because it's Cauwine, these are Rhisveri, Visophecin, Czautha, and Silvenia are four of the strongest immortals we've ever seen in the story. But at the same time, they're up against Cauwine. I don't know. It's going to be very difficult for them to win.
Impossible, I would say.
Yeah.
There must there has win their win. It must be a giant Deus Ex Machina that even allows them to win. I can't
Alright.
see any other way.
Okay. All right, let's read out some of the comments now. Donkey says they fight until Cauwine gets bored and are retired. Might last the whole solstice. That'd be a long, long fight. Well, actually, I don't even know how long the solstice is going to last at this point. How long can Casigna hold the stars in place, hold the day as a solstice? Like that's the big question. Is it gonna last for just a few more hours? Is it gonna last for days? Who knows? It's gonna be weird. But Mr. Europe says Cauwine is trash and they're gonna beat her until she lets them go. Unless Pyre wants to make Linu break the computer and has Silvenia join Cauwine. Yeah, I think Linu would be slightly upset about that. I just
Oh
have
my
this
god,
sneaking suspicion.
that would be a meltdown.
A little one. Maybe.
Now I want to
Anyways.
see it.
Don't be mean. Come on. We don't want Linu to melt down. We want Linu to be happy. All right? Happiness. Anyways, Civ Series says Cauwine will win, but spare them for trying so hard. She's the goddess of last stands. She'll respect the hustle and let them go. That way Pirate gets to Worf, Sylv, Viso, Rhys, and Czautha. Cauwine gets to do something from the Solstice, and there's only one group of surprise reinforcements. One thing, I do agree with you that I don't see Cauwine intentionally killing them. It seems so far that like Cauwine has not killed anyone that she's met, even if they've spurned her. Like I'm sure she could have killed Kilb at the very least. During her battle with him. She could have maybe killed Mirex, though he would have just been resurrected. She could have done some damage to the people who have rejected her, but she hasn't. So I do agree with you that it's unlikely she's going to hurt any of the seriously, permanently kill them. Like obviously she'll hurt them. It's a battle. They're going to hurt each other. That's just what happens.
Especially Silvenia.
Yeah. Okay. Tomia says, what do you think of Erin's prowess being displayed like this? How would people's perception of her change? That's a different discussion question. Brack Giraffe says, Cauwine isn't going to convince Czautha to worship anything. That's probably true. Czautha is predisposed to not like that kind of dealio. Donkey says, in reply to Tomio, more than Erin's power level, I think people's perceptions of her will change mainly because of how powerful her enemies are, like Puron said. Asteria says, would be funny to see how Alien Damas is gonna explain to Duke dying on the Liscor battlefield if he gets deaded. Okay, he's not gonna get deaded. I don't see Rhisveri dying this battle.
His avatar is meant to be killed, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But Rhisveri himself.
Yeah, you were told Visophecin to sacrifice his avatar.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so if the Duke would be perceived as dying. Yes. Okay. That would be interesting for them to explain. So that's a good PR stunt for them. They're like, okay, we just sent our Duke to this battle to save Liscor. Respect us. Relia says, if the theme of this chapter was the gods all failing at all their stuff, then the next chapter will be when they start winning a lot, and so one of the four at least will unalive, and I reckon it's the Death of Chains because it means that Pisces can be the new Death of Chains as he goes back to Chandra to go save all his former slave buddies. Face with so open mouth face with 10 chins. Plus, by the way, Cauwine probably had a lot of respect for the other three, so she'd give up after taking only one of their souls. Smiley face with 4 chins. If anyone else unalived, it would be Silvenia, because then the Blighted Kingdom could push into the core of Rhisveri, and finally we find lore there. Smiley face with 6 chins. This would also mean that Silvenia could have like an arc and signal as she travels to the other afterlives, and it helps the goblins break free from Hellstein and hang out with Jesus, who runs Dio Tria now because of the prophet and all his followers. Happy face with 8 chins. Also, Rhisveri unalivened would be funny because it would isolate Terry even more as the only giant scaly old guy who's trying to save the world, which means he has to take Riss's word to heart and step up. Smiley face with 3 chins. Also, I don't know if much changes if Viso unlives, except that I'll be really sad. Sad face with 3 chins. I'd be sad too. I like Visophecin. He's a cool guy. Valthurain says, I don't see the 4 winning its war. Maybe they will manage to get away or Cauwine will let them go. I'm interested in seeing how Visophecin will fare against her, since the Lucifin are cousins to the Agelum. And Donkey says, Cauwine is being very smart and reasonable, but she still gets rejected at every turn, which is good for the world's future, though I wonder how long her chain of rejections will go. Asteria says, also, risky development. I'm going to save 10,000 civilians as a PR stunt. The excuses grow weaker. Going to be interesting to see how enemies come together to face off against the larger threat. People like Kara seem too set in their ways to set grievances aside, so I wonder how that is going to develop. 100,000, not 10K. Sorry, I misread the number, Asteria. You're right. Sivsir says, Rissi is the biggest Sundari in this entire setting. He is. He is. He constantly is saying things like, oh, I don't care about mortals. I'm going to kill all the mortals. And then, when there's a bunch of mortals in peril, he's like, okay, I'm going there. No one's arguing with me. We're going. We're dealing with this. We're helping. And he's doing it more than even Teriarch is, He's like surprised Teriarch wasn't setting up grander magics.
I'm gonna be oh so sad when he's dying.
He's not dying, okay? Rissi is living forever and ever and ever.
Nope.
All right. Any
With
last
some
thoughts?
golden meat.
Any last thoughts on this, Edra?
Not on this question, no.
All right. I think the next question will be our last question.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good one to stop on. What is going to happen in the battle next chapter? How will Liscor survive 100,000 Draugr? Will Liscor survive? And sorry, there's one part of the question I missed. And what are your death and life predictions? Who do you absolutely want to see not die? Who do you think is going to die? Let's hear it. Aderon, go. Give me your thoughts.
Big next chapter is firstly gonna be the Horns. They have to still arrive at the battle, and they will. And they're still just a small force, but they're gonna be a huge help fighting all this undead, because now we have a probably named ranked team fighting. And other things, what is gonna happen? There has to be a big something, because at this moment I can't see a way how they survive without a really big Deus Ex Machina.
We still have the Fey Warrior in the mix.
Oh, it's true, yeah.
They could help.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But other than the Horns arriving and doing Horn stuff, I'm not really sure.
All right. All right. Thank you, Aderon. I do see Liscor surviving simply because if Liscor doesn't survive, Aaron will have to move her in. We all know Aaron is a homebody at heart. She doesn't want to move, so I don't see Liscor just getting destroyed completely. I also don't see Aaron dying again, like some people seem to like to say. I don't see it happening. Um, I don't have any death and life predictions for now. Person I absolutely don't want to see die is definitely Aaron. I don't want to see Aaron die.
Nope.
That's about it. I don't want to see a lot of characters die, but I'm willing to accept their deaths in the end. I don't want to see Aaron die, and I don't want to accept her death if she does die. Okay.
Except Silvenia. Now, from this day on forward, I want Silvenia to die.
Jeez, Edward. You just made yourself enemy number 1 in Linu's heart.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Sidehammer, how about we hear from you?
Alrighty. This might take a minute. Depends on how many chapters are left, really, until the end of the story. But considering, not considering, based on what I think needs to happen before the end, horns are gonna emerge from the crossroads. They'll be leveled up, at least somewhat, a little bit. Depending on how many of the necromancers have taken Kasigna's hand, he'll be instrumental against the undead and fighting maybe the new Naga or Knoll necromancer that we've just uncovered. Then we have Salus, who is an army unto himself. He could probably deal with half the Draugr alone. We still have capstones to see from others across the world. We've yet to see any people throwing skills. Though now that the dead are rising everywhere, they may need to keep them at home. So Salus could wipe out thousands of them, especially with his own, amazing skills. The Frostmarrow Behemoth just tears through, several others. And definitely they could take on the hags. They're gold rank. And also we're gonna have a named ranked in there with Kolth. He's gonna have plenty to do. On Rabbit Eater's side, I think it's a little too nebulous at the moment. I do like the idea that he becomes he becomes a burning savior, and yet at the same time gets exposed as being a goblin. I think that'll be the most interesting, just thematic wise. But I do think also that the kids have a part to play in the battle. Something to do with the seed, with the seed and the vision that Hathon had. So I think they all still have a lot. There's a lot of threads left to be tied up. So I think, unfortunately, I think a lot of people will probably die. I'm worried for Ammon and some of the named Antinium, like Belgrade and stuff like that, who don't really have a lot to do, but are still beloved characters. I was really worried for Roke and Valley this episode, but this chapter, but seeing as how they've already had their scare, I'm not sure. I think they might be out of the leads now. Let's see. I don't think Ishkur or Yoverland or any of the staff are really in danger until we get inside the inn, and then unfortunately I think some of the Knights of Solstice might beat it, which would be really sad because I like them all and I want to see them do good. But I don't see Aaron dying either, so I would be upset if that happens. Yes, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Sidehammer. Lots of death and life predictions. We'll see how
Yes.
it goes. Tomio, you're up next. I think you had some predictions.
Yes. Well, I'm not very eloquent, so I try to be as coherent as possible. But I think that, well, we all don't want Parasapa to feed sincere, lust-thirsty trust so much. It's getting quite smug recently, ever since Tessie got ahead of himself, let's say. But I do agree that we need some deaths here to make it feel the impact of the climax of the volume. And I think I would not encourage that, but I would accept it if it was the following character: Ralk, Shardian, Shelako, and a few others. I absolutely do not want to see my favorite character dying, of course, which is Magnolia. I think the ones who are less consequential character, like the minor Urta, are much likely to buy the dust, one of which would be Caroline. And I really liked her, and I really think she could be more, so I don't want her dying too soon. Yeah, that's it. Just please not Magnolia and Caroline.
Okay. Caroline. Where is Caroline right now? Is she with Floss or is she still in Wistrom? Do you know, Tomio?
She's at Nominard, the Drow city.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
Okay.
writing tentacle school.
I think she's pretty safe then. I don't think there would be very many undead or just dead bodies in Umbernaut, and so I do think she's on the safer side. So let's hope for her. But thank you, Tommy, for your predictions. I kind of hope Magnolia dies. Not really. Not really. That's just me saying that.
Wow.
Okay. Now it's time to read. Oh god, there's so much to read.
Sleep with your eyes
Okay.
open. I will eat you.
Okay. Don't worry. Asteria says everyone will be teleported to Jakras, and Chicana and Raelt will save the day, with Chicana casting judgment down on Cassie while Raelt pokes her into non-existence. All right. Asteria also says, more seriously, I expect we are going to see some major players taken out with the town completely gone. And the Horn showing up to Smoking Ruin at the point of view in Liscor cuts off, leaving us not knowing who survived until the Horns find them. I expect we will start off next chapter finding out who, if anyone, took Cassie and Cauwine's deal, though I expect we won't find out about everyone. Aaron should die, though, and take the fight to Cassie, buy the living more time, Relk Pride, Mags, Unicorn Grim, and Cheese Knight of Goodness better survive. So you want Aaron to die, but you don't want Relk, Pride, Mags, Unicorn, Grim, or the person you don't even know whose name, Gershal. Okay.
I can respect that.
Good to know, Sarah. Good to know. Sivsir says, looks at question, I totally haven't watched Dream. No siree. I don't know the answer. But I hope Pyron adds more deaths. I think Pyronaba could kill off the entire cast, and Sivsir would say, okay, but where's another death? I want one more. Ugh. Donkey says the inn might be the last building left standing, but either way, people like Fedahep will help fund rebuilding and stuff. Might be a big time skip after Solstice for the recovery stuff. I hadn't even considered the possibility of a time skip, but you're right. There could be one for just recovery. Donkey says, I want Pisces to join the battle as a Deathbane Necromancer, but I don't know if the horns can do much to turn the tide. It's a big if, asking the horns to do something that could actually turn the tide. Sir Barry says, reminder, Linu edits the videos of these talks. Don't be surprised if you have some audio problems in the video. Yeah, that would be fun. You gotta watch your back, Aderon. Watch out. Alright. Relia says, oh god. Okay. Not a single I see one comma in this comment. Relia, you've already failed. You got a comma in there. Anyways, Liscor. Relia says Liscor will survive because it gets popped into the crossroads of Israel by whatever horn shenanigans that happened, probably with them entering that walled city and releasing one of her old magical mechanisms and monsters, and probably an isolated population there with like 1 billion levels. Ugh. Smiley face with 4 chins. And it won't hurt that probably Rhisveri or Silvenia or whoever shows up eventually, and combined with army skills dumping it from abroad as the broadcast comes back online, this means that Liscor will have a way to beat up the undead giants. Smiley face with 20 chins, but probably almost a whole cast unalive, so it's a close call, and Enuryn gets so distraught over it that she travels all over the world with her level 50 cast bump that metaphysically turns her into the end to make it truly wander, which would have thematic resonance of being the complete opposite of what she learned in her convo with Olvama, where she learned that she was in the end, but the system wants her to be, and she has to reconcile this difference as she tries to make new friends in distant lands. Smiley face with 4 chins. And Czautha unalives, ooh. Czautha is going to live forever, but thank you for this wonderful take. Valtherain says, Roka tries to parry a blow from one of Caligma's servants, and it accidentally hits the hilt of her sword. It detonates and disintegrates everything in 100-mile radius, while the heat ignites the atmosphere and the man of Inworld thus ending the story. that'd be one way to end the story. Wow. That's certainly one. Anyway, Liscor, sorry. Asterio replies to Relia by saying, Liscor will survive because it gets wait. Oh, did you just break this up? Break Relia's comment up into? Okay, never mind. Geiger says the only way they survive, horns show up, dems goes full dragon, Demsleth, I guess. Floss tosses army of the king on the defenses. Nears castles Tom onto the battlefield. The 4 immortals make it to the battlefield. Az gets pissed and pulls out his undead whales. Aaron levels and gets army of the inn where her statues march to battle. Eminor crashes onto the armies, and of course, halflings everywhere. That's a lot of things right there. Wow. Asteri says, I know his name, but Cheese Knight is so much better, and I was making it easier for you to read. Asteria, did you want to talk or no? You pinged me like you wanted to talk, but if you don't, that's fine. Alright, I'm going to assume you don't want to talk. Kania says, the grand design should also intervene to some degree at some point, especially if he thinks Cassinius cheating could start giving anti-undead classes and levels to people. It already felt like he was helping when Aaron received just what she wanted from the boon of the princess. Geiger says, that'd be funny if grand design of Issakenis made it so you no longer had to sleep to level. That would be broken. Donkey says, the Antinium with face classes The Antinium with faith classes should already be leveling without sleeping, wondering if that will have an effect on the battle. The grand design actually, like a couple chapters before the battle started, got rid of that exemption. Faith classes no longer level up while they're awake. So the Antinium should not be leveling during this battle until they fall asleep or get knocked out. Brack Giraffe says, the horns got yeeted from the last big fight. It just makes sense that they get sent flying straight into the middle of this one. I hope they do. I love the horns, but I hope they don't die. Asteria says, watch him drop from the sky on the hag, squashing it. It's a good image. All right. All right. I think that's it. Okay, one more. Relly says, Kolth lands directly on Caligma, unaliven instantly. I don't think so, Relia. Oh, we got one more comment from Sidehammer, and Relia gives us a smiley face with 12 gins, I want to say. Anyway, Sidehammer, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I forgot something from my original take, and I also love the imagery of the Wizard of Oz squashing the hags. That's really fun. I can totally see the horns doing it. One thing that I think puts the nail in Caligma's coffin is she had her backstory. Everyone knows that when you start showing the backstory of the villain, that's when they're about to die. So, if One Piece has taught me anything, it's that Caligma is about to die.
All right. Interesting perspective. All right. Thank you. I think that's it. Any last thoughts, Aderon?
Just one last prediction that Eren at the end of the battle is gonna vanish or gonna be sent somewhere on in-world, and then we're gonna get a you know what I mean?
Consolidation.
Consolidation, and that's how the volume is gonna end. And
so Eren won't be in her end anymore.
Nope. She's gonna be sent somewhere.
Okay.
And I think you're pronouncing it. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Aderon. With that, I am going to end the recording.